of these days it's gonna be a better day. My haunted house and it was like a cabaret. And I see down at the end.
Hello, I am chilling here in the studio with Kitten. So say your name and what you play.
I'm Alan and I play drums.
I'm Vince and I sing.
I'm bass and I play Dan.
Paul's not here, but he plays and sings and guitar.
I'm Henry, I play guitar, but I'm doing the interviewing. Alright, so what are some of the recording techniques that you guys used in this recording and or in your previous EPs?
Well, originally we play all together, don't we? Our first.
Well, in our first recordings, we would just do live tracks
Yeah.
where we all played at once and recorded it.
Garage with this
And it didn't sound great.
snowball mic.
It didn't sound good at
It worked
all.
better than recording track by track though, since we didn't have the best setup. So
We didn't really
the tracks would
grasp
be
the
long.
concept of track by track.
So,
Yeah.
Rather,
did you do track by track here?
We did. That is the method we used in these recordings, and it worked very well.
Alright, and what in your opinions are the best recorded famous albums, or just an album in general? What's an album that's well
Pinkerton
recorded?
by Weezer.
Great bass tone.
Yeah.
2000 by Guided by Voices. In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by New Philadelphia Hotel.
Isn't that just droned out though? Just
Yeah, I'm joking.
You're Living All Over Me by Dinosaur Jr.
That's a great.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at name dropping.
But on a serious note, Pinkerton is really good. And I can't think of anything.
Oh, The Stone Roses by Stone
The
Roses.
first Stone Roses album.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, so how does recording in a professional studio like this one compare to recording in our practice studio at our house?
Drastically different.
It's better. Everything's organized instead of strewn about the floor. We have a great guy managing all the tech tools for us and now carrying the camera.
We thank him
He just
for
does
all
it all.
that.
Hi.
Alright, were there any problems or points in recording that took you longer than others that you just couldn't get?
Members being grounded.
And members being
Alan
grounded?
kept on playing the banjo.
Oh yeah.
But
That didn't really cause
There weren't any
problem,
there weren't
that
any
was
really
a problem.
especially difficult parts to recording it. It was just
Mhm.
getting
Sometimes
the
we'd
whole.
have to do more takes than we wanted to, but that was just to get the sound we wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only really strenuous event in this whole recording process.
Alright, and my last question for you guys is, what's your favorite track on the EP, and what do you think you did to it that made it sound better? Any techniques you used, or doubling vocals?
I like the surf song personally the best, and I think it's because it's the first track we really like. Cole definitely has he's more present in that track than a lot of the other ones, and it's kind of that's one of the first things we recorded where the band is kind of working really well together as a whole.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think I like the Anarchy song for that. Maybe because altogether, I don't know, the song as a whole is really strong, and it has a sort of message that I guess if you listen closely to, you can sense why we were singing those lyrics. And I don't know, in the whole recording process, one day I came here to work on some vocals, and I added some effects and recorded some vocals on myself, so I felt like I had a lot of control over the song. And I don't know, it felt good to put that much time and effort into that song, and I felt like I really, along with the band, made it sound excellent. Dan?
My favorite is Willem Dafoe because we wrote that about a year ago, and it's really grown just stronger as we play it more and more. and when we recorded it, we put some fuzz on the bass, and it's got a really cool sound now, and I think it's found a home in the recording.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Good to know.
Over and out.
Problem.
Peace.
Well, you.
And I don't care what you know, and I don't care what you say, and I don't care if I grow, and I don't care if you stay.
Alright, hey, I am kicking it in Studio Infinity with Jared. He does all the recording and engineering on this wonderful EP. He's done all the work pretty much. And we're going to talk to him about recording.
He's done all the work.
He walks the dog.
That's false.
So, what are some of the steps that you normally take when recording? Just the basic steps.
First I set up the drum set. To make sure that's set up, and then I usually spend a little while setting up all like the microphones and stuff so that everything's hooked up. That kind of takes a while, so I just always try and come early and plug in all the mic cables and hook everything up. And then yeah, just fire up the computer and like I have like templates set up for all of the recording sessions, so that way it's a lot faster. So I just pretty much just turn everything on and everything's already set up. And so yeah, it's good to have a lot of prep work because then it makes, you know, it goes faster for you. You guys aren't wasting your time. I'm not wasting your time, and then you guys just get in here and make your magic happen. So
Alright, what different genres have you recorded, and what do you do differently with, like, say, from rap to country
sure,
to rock?
that's a great question. We've definitely done a lot of different genres. We've definitely done rap and country, a lot of heavy metal, a lot of butt rock, a lot of like classic rock, and then obviously we've done like some indie rock and a lot of really like Brit pop rock, which is a lot of fun. Definitely, like prep work is a lot different for like metal bands because when they're like playing, they're like super heavy and hard, and so I need all the microphones a lot farther away from all the instruments so that they're not like overloading all the time while they're like like double bass and just like slamming the drums. And then for like acoustic, more stuff like singer-songwriters and piano players, like. It's definitely a much more like intimate setting, so usually we don't even have to set up a drum set. We'll just like set up a piano in here or a one vocal microphone, and let them just kind of do their thing. So yeah, and just depending on how many members are in the band, also kind of decides how much stuff I'm going to set up. If we need to set up a lot of amps or a lot of more microphones, and we may need more headphones if we have a lot of band members, so we set up all the headphones. But if there's not as many people, then we don't have to set up as much stuff.
All right. What are some of your favorite recording tricks or techniques?
My favorite recording tricks and techniques. Well, one is like we did with your guitar. The stereo amp miking is pretty sweet. It gives a really cool electric guitar tone. I like to put reverb. I like to do parallel reverb on the drums, and so we'll take the drum set and we'll record it and have it, on its track, and then I send the sound from the drums to a whole other track that's totally separate, and then I put reverb on that, so you have your dry drums and then you have the reverb drums, and that kind of makes the drums pop out a little more. It makes them sound very professional. And I would say, and like on vocal tracks too, I like doubling a lot of vocals and distorting them and putting delay on them and just all kinds of different effects to tweak it out and make it sound really cool.
Alright, so are there any albums that you think are just like, wow, this is the perfect recording, or?
Sure, That's a great question. I would say like a lot of stuff that's like really old is really well recorded because they recorded all the tape. And like when you record the tape, it just sounds so good, and they like mix. Like a lot of like Pink Floyd albums are like just brilliantly mixed. Some of the old Beatles records or the old Rolling Stones records are just like perfectly mixed. I agree with you guys that some of the original Weezer albums are just really well recorded. Because if you focus on getting a really good recording from the start, you really don't have to do a lot of like tweaking and fixing. You just get the mics in place, you play it really well, and then you don't even have to do that much.
And back then, they usually just record it all at once.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't have like computers to like tweak things,
Yeah.
and so they just how it sounded was how it sounded. So you had to get a good take at the beginning.
All right. And for my last question for you, have you ever been forced to use auto-tune
Yeah.
on someone that's coming?
All time. We've only had to use auto-tune as a T-Pain effect once to make it sound like all crazy. But otherwise, we use auto-tune a lot to fix vocals. If someone like had a really good vocal take, but they were just kind of flat or sharp on a couple of notes, then we just go in rather than re-recording it because it sounded really good, but they're just a little flat. We'll just go in and we'll just tweak it and pull it down or fix it a little bit.
To make them sound good.
Yeah, go in and doctor it and make them sound good. And there's definitely times when like I have people come in who can't sing at all, and so we just pretty much just plug it into the auto-tune and just make them sound.
Rebecca Black.
Yeah, Rebecca Black, make them sound fantastic. That's exactly true. Yes.
All right.
Alright.